What's up, my friend? Today I have a special one. Instant pot roast beef. My friends, back in the day I did a pot roast and it's still my favorite American recipe. It was so damn good. But a lot of you end up suggesting this video I believe is a bit different than the way I did it. So I guess we shall see. Before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like... Thank you so much. Is the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description. And by the way, this plate is looking so damn sexy.
Y'all better get y'all mamas away from the kitchen when you making this one, because you gonna want to slap your mama this instant pot roast, garlic mashed
Slap my mama?
potatoes, garlic green beans, and honey butter cornbread. Hey, it's so good. We're gonna go ahead and get started with this pot.
Okay. Actually, we go back a bit. My friends, this lady is incredible. Not the first time I react to her content, and she makes food look so amazing. It's actually so impressive, my friends. To me, I really love her channel, and she's also quite funny.
Mamas away from the kitchen when you making this one, because you gonna want to slap your mama this instant pot roast, garlic mashed potatoes, garlic green beans, and honey butter cornbread. Hey, it's so good. We're gonna go ahead and get started with this pot roast, and I have a 2-pound chuck roast right here. A lot of fat.
That's a big piece of meat.
Fat on it is what you're gonna want. I have 2 stalks of fresh celery, as well as
Holy, even the onions, not the onions, the carrots are looking so damn beautiful. Kinda big also.
about 6 carrots. They're a little bit on the small side. I also have 4 medium-sized rustic potatoes, but any potato of your choice would work.
Okay.
I'm also going to be using 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, 1 red
Purple
onion.
People say red onion, I don't get it. It's purple, my friends.
2 tablespoons of
Portuguese butter?
and a little over
American
a 1/4
butter.
cup of dry red wine. Now let's start seasoning that meat. I'm using a teaspoon of Lowry's, a teaspoon of beef Maggi, a teaspoon and a half of garlic powder, as well as a teaspoon and a half of onion powder, a teaspoon of dried thyme, a teaspoon of garlic pepper seasoning. This is a pre-mixed blend. And
What type of witchcraft are we performing here, my friends?
I'm going to stir this together. I'm also going to go in with half a teaspoon of dry rosemary. Now add some olive oil to...
Yo, my friends, people really say that Europeans or Brits overreact to American seasoning food, but let's be real, you guys really season food.
your chuck roast and rub that baby down, okay? And then we gonna season all sides, all right? Don't just be seasoning the top, all right? Patting it in and then flipping it over and seasoning the bottom. No, honey, we gotta do more than that, all right? We gotta get up in there and we got to season the cracks. And we got to season the corners. You see how I'm opening that little fat pocket? Shake it on in, okay? Seasoning can get up in there, all right?
That's very smart,
flip
actually.
it and turn it to the side. Yep, the sides need flavor.
The
We need that
sides?
part. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm also gonna make sure that I'm seasoning the fat cap. Now the fat cap, the best part, because that's the part where the flavor lies. Okay. So get it up in there. Now
I like this lady.
for these potatoes, since I'm using a rustic potato, I am going to peel them. But if you're using the thin skin potatoes, this is not necessary. I'm going to cut off any bad parts, and then I am going to cut them into large-ish pieces.
Those potatoes are not that common here, my friends. They are very American, I feel like.
I'm cutting them into like halves and thirds.
They're so
but
white.
You could also do fourths. It really depends on like how much space you have in your Instant Pot, because they have to be small enough to fit into the packet. And you'll see what I mean in the upcoming clip when I put them in the foil packet. Now for these carrots, I'm actually only going to cut the largest ones. You can peel them if you would like. I didn't peel all of them, but those I'm actually going to leave whole. They're a good size already. However, the other ones I'm going to take and then I'm going to cut them in just like some halves, that's good enough because they're going to be cooking for quite a while. So if you cut them too small, they're actually going to get mushy. I would prefer that you cook them and then you cut them into the size you want after they are cooked.
Interesting point, actually.
Now for my celery,
because yeah, they will be so soft that with a fork you can do it. You know what? I'm learning, my friends. I'm learning.
I'm going to prep this by putting this into large chunks as well. This will essentially dissolve into the gravy because of how long it's going to
So this is another thing that I realized. Americans use celery quite more than Europeans.
be cooked. So there's really no reason to take the time to make this super small. Now for my onion. All right. Now my onion as well, I am going to just put that into some large chunks.
What the hell is this video, my friends? Those colors are looking incredible. Look at how purple the onion is. Holy.
Just like
You guys say that Portuguese products look good, but American products here are looking amazing. Maybe they are from a specific state or something, but am I crazy to say this?
the celery, it will basically dissolve under pressure. So there's really no need to make it super small. I actually found that if I make them really small, it actually kind of becomes gummy. So I do like keeping it large. I'm just going to go in and separate this, and our veggie prep is good. Now, I am going to wrap the carrots in some foil. This is going to keep it out of the gravy, but cooking. So just wrap it up tightly.
Wait, but isn't the gravy good to absorb?
In a tight foil pack. I'm also going to do the same thing with the potatoes. However, the potatoes are really big. So you need to maneuver them in a way so that the pack is the right size to fit in your Instant Pot. As you can see, I'm kind of stacking them on top of each other. You're going to need to do that so that it can fit well into the Instant Pot. And I'm going to close that up as well. And of course, this is going in our mashed potatoes. So really, the potatoes will not be overcooked, even though we're going to cook it in the Instant Pot for a long time.
So when I did my pot roast, the thing I end up doing is end up adding the potatoes a bit later. But I guess this is a bit easier because you don't have to worry about. You put everything inside of the pan from start.
Now I'm going to put my Instant Pot on saute.
What the hell is this machine?
And I'm going to...
Wait, that machine have great technology. You press a button and makes beans and chili at the same time? Make eggs? Oh man, I have to buy this one. What the hell is this machine, my friends?
Now I'm going to put my Instant Pot on saute, and I'm going to stick a little bit of oil in there. This is
I'm going to Google that after the video.
just a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to begin searing our meat. You have to get a great sear on your meat because you want to lock in those juices and just
protect
balloon the flavors in those spices. And hey, don't even worry about that little brown stuff on the bottom.
No,
that doesn't matter. That's all flavor.
It's flavor.
Now, I brown mine for about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. It really depends on how hot your saute function gets. But as you can see, I'm getting some good color, and I'm also flipping it to the sides. Sides got flavor too. Okay, so flip them good. Guys, if y'all think I'm doing a good job, please go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe.
I'm going to leave a like.
Let me know your favorite way to make your chuckle.
Yeah, my friends, actually, I'm going to pause it. Go to this lady's channel right now. Yeah. Original video in my description. Show her some love. Say that André Say, André, send me here. You know, I'm American, but a random European guy sent me to this American video. How crazy is life? No, but for real, my friends, show her some love. I really love the way she cooks. I think I wish I could cook as well as her. It's fantastic, honestly.
Gross. Now I'm going to go in with some
great
butter and my celery and my onions, and I'm using my spoon to carefully scrape up that fondant that is at the bottom of my...
No, I'm gonna be honest. I think this got a bit too brown. Do you guys think this can work?
Instant Pot. Guys, this is total flavor. Don't be one of those people that goes and rinses their pot out. I don't know.
Okay, I would have done that if that was my pen, but I guess we are still fine.
Why people do that. But we need that flavor. Now, to help deglaze the pan...
Your sister have sauce?
I'm also going to put in about 2 teaspoons of that W sauce. Okay. Now, no, don't
W
nobody know
sauce.
how to say that right. Okay. And I'm going to use it to pop that fondant off. Now in goes my garlic, and I'm just going to lightly toast it. Y'all know garlic can burn, so don't even be.
You know what? I was wrong. The brown thing is getting attached to the vegetables. Tremendous idea.
Cooking it longer than 1 minute. Okay.
American
Now
power.
goes
You guys
in
saw
the
it?
red
No.
wine. This red wine adds so much flavor. Remember, this is a dry red wine. Please do not use a sweet red wine. It won't work for this recipe. Now I'm putting in the little trivet that came with my Instant Pot, and I'm going to do this whole sort of stacking operation. Okay. So
Different layers. Holy sweet potato.
first the trivet, then the roast beef, then the potatoes. Now, as you can see, this is why I need to make sure the potatoes weren't too high. You see they're not going over the lip now?
The onions.
Perfect. And then I'm going to put my carrots right on top, and I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of beef broth.
Beef broth.
You could add more, but I find that you don't need too much because
Can I use chicken broth? Because I like chicken broth a bit more than I like the flavor of beef broth.
I really want that flavor to be concentrated. I am
Okay.
going to pressure cook this for about 20 minutes a pound and then do a
Pressure
natural
cook.
pressure release. So this is 2 pounds. So I'm going to do about 40 minutes. Now, if you want that falling off the
No way this will work in 40 minutes. Look, all the respect, cooks amazing, 40 minutes for a pot roast. I don't believe it.
bone tender chuck roast, then I suggest you
Mine took like 5 hours. I don't believe this one.
go about 25 minutes a pound. Okay. Now, these are my green beans. They've already been cleaned, and I'm just adding them to some boiling water and just quickly
Damn, I don't like greens that much, but I like American greens.
cooking them for about 3 minutes, adding a little butter, a little salt, a little pepper, a little garlic, keeping it simple but delicious. All right. And our green beans are
They are
done.
delicious.
They're just slightly cooked. And now that my Instant Pot has natural pressure release for 25 minutes, I'm just going to, knock it open and let it go the rest of the way. And voila, guys. Okay, let's see what.
Okay, moment of truth, my friends. Can this, if this works, real talk right now, I'm gonna go to Amazon. I think it's Portuguese Amazon is not that great. But I'm gonna try to find one of those 100%. Look, this is an incredible machine if this works.
Treasures we have in here. Now, first, I'm
Go
going to take
ahead.
out my
Let's see it.
veggies and I'm going to place them to the side. Next, we have our beautiful pot roast, and I'm going to actually cut this up on the side.
Is that done?
Now, we're going to go in and we're going to put
Oh, those juices are looking incredible.
a little work on this gravy, okay? I'm going to add
More? Okay.
in a teaspoon of beef bouillon powder as well as a teaspoon of garlic powder, and I'm just going to salt and pepper to taste. And this is 2 teaspoons of cornstarch that I have mixed with water, and that's going to
You, my friends, you have to be an engineer or something to cook in America. Look at all of this. Holy.
thicken up my gravy. Now, I did not go heavy with the salt in the beginning of this recipe on purpose because I like to reduce my gravy on the saute function for a while. And if you add too much salt, it just really spoils the roast beef, in my
Okay.
opinion. It makes it way too salty, so you can always adjust it here. Now I'm adding in that delicious chopped up roast beef. As I said, mine is tender, but it's not falling apart. And if you like it more tender, just cook it a little bit longer in the Instant Pot. Now, I know all of you guys want to know what's going on in these packets.
Yeah, what's going on there?
So if you look inside, you will see our carrots are definitely cooked, but they are
Holy, what type of magic was this? They are cooked.
not mushy. If you had cooked them with the beef, they definitely would be mushy, but they still have some texture to them. Now,
But I don't like them to be mushy. Mushy. Mushy? Is that how you say it?
these potatoes are nice and cooked, and they are soft as well. And we're going
They
to
look
begin
good.
to prep them for these garlic mashed potatoes. So I'm going to take them piping hot out of the packet with some tongs because your girl don't want to burn herself, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to start working on these taters.
More
I'm
butter.
going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to start pounding them with my spoon. Really, I should have had my potato masher, but y'all, I couldn't find it.
You know what? I have a potato masher, and I know where it is. That's the only thing I'm a bit better than her, because she cooks amazing.
I couldn't find it. Okay, it was trying to hide from me now. So I had to go in and, get a little arm worked out. Okay, work that thing. All right, with the spoon.
Milk?
And then I went in with some heavy cream and a little bit of sour cream. And of course, I'm gonna go in with salt and pepper. Now, really for these tots, you just got to work it, add a little bit here, add a little bit there until you get the flavor that you want. Okay, so you're gonna see me go in with some whole milk, some more sour cream, and I'm just gonna work that flavor. Now, I know you guys are wondering how we're gonna get the roasted garlic flavor if we ain't roast no garlic. Now, I didn't have
That's a great point, actually. Ow.
have a whole hour or whatever to roast garlic, so I'm doing a little cheat here, and I am using the roasted garlic better than bouillon to get that roasted garlic flavor. And I'm adding about 2 teaspoons of that, and y'all, it really does add a nice garlicky flavor. Okay, I didn't really believe it until I tried it. So
I
give it a go. Of course, if you do want to roast your own garlic, then just take a bulb of garlic, cut off the top and the bottom, and wrap it in some foil with a little olive oil and roast it until it's tender. You can whiz it in the food processor to make it smooth, and then I'm going
now they go in, okay.
to add in my carrots.
I'm going to buy this machine.
Mix into this delicious gravy. Now, my honey butter cornbread recipe, I'll link that. That is already on my channel. Look at this delicious meal.
Oh my,
guys,
no, don't end the video, we have to go back.
Into this delicious gravy. Now, my honey butter cornbread recipe, I'll link that. That is already on my channel. Look.
Yo, my friends, I started the video saying, how can she makes this pot roast in 40 minutes? Because that was the claim. I guess it was possible. My friend, this machine that you end up using, is the Instant Pot, is an incredible one. Look, I react to a lot of food here on YouTube. No one does it better than this lady. This is looking so delicious. Actually, if we push back, take a look at that. How beautiful is that looking? My friends, tell me if I'm not crazy. That is looking beautiful, right? Leave a like if you agree. Man. Well, I guess it's everything for today, right, my friends? Damn. Just a moment, my friends. I have to process this. Yeah, that is looking delicious. Okay, my friends, focus. Thank you so much for watching. Man, I love American food. I really appreciate all the support, and I may have to find one of those machines. That said, see you guys in the next one. Bye, my friends.